Disadvantages of entrepreneurship. Today I'm joined with Craig Campbell. We're going to talk about the negatives of being an entrepreneur. So Craig, let's jump straight in. And what is the downside to being an entrepreneur?
So earlier in my journey, I couldn't switch off. That was one of the big things for me. So starting out, and again, you'll have been in a similar position. You can't switch off. You know, when I was going on holiday, I was in the hotel reception trying to get the Wi-Fi. This is years ago when you didn't have Wi-Fi in your hotel room. You had to go to the reception, do all your emails and get all your fucking people to be doing different bits and bobs throughout the day. So I couldn't ever really get holidays or switch off at the start. And I think most of us were doing, 14, 15, 16 hour days or whatever, and never switching off. You were on the phone on holiday and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, that was one major disadvantage. And obviously that led to me not being able to switch off at night. I had to go and see the doctor and hypnotherapists and everything. I'm like, I can't fucking switch off. I just can't. Like, I just wake up at 3 a.m. with an idea and I'd be fucking up buying domain names and shit. Like, and then I'd have another dream the next night and I'd be up buying 3 more domains and I wasn't actually fucking doing anything with them. So I just had this fucking crazy thing. And, you know, just some small tips I had on that from like people that I get advice from and stuff. I don't have emails on my phone and stuff like that. Like when I want to answer my emails, I go on the laptop and do it. Just because, again, I don't know if it's an ADHD thing or whatever, because you probably have a lot of the same traits as me. If I see something in an email at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, and let's say it was a client moaning at me, that would fire me up at 11 o'clock on Sunday night. I'd be like, you fucking bastard, G. And I'd be replying back and all that stuff. And then I couldn't sleep. And it was just disruptive, do you know what I mean? So they're like, you know, and even just thoughts get into your head. The person said, like, just write a note. Just have a notepad beside your bed, just write it down, because if it's in your head and you're going, I can't forget this, I need to buy that domain in the morning, fucking can't sleep. Yeah. So things like that, I still don't have emails on my phone and stuff like that to this day, and it's just because, again, I don't want distracted. I'll check my emails 3 or 4 times a day. That's it. So you know, things like that actually made me burn out, and I had anxiety and stuff like that as well. And I remember going to doctors and he's like, what do you do? He said to me something along the lines like, get any marriage troubles? I'm like, nope. Any kind of financial troubles? No, doing okay. And then he asked what my day-to-day was like. It's like, mate, you're going to have a fucking heart attack. You've been doing 4 years in 17-hour days. I'm like, yeah. He's like, like, man, something needs to give. So yeah, that, you know, that's one massive disadvantage. Obviously, when you're starting out, obviously the job from there, as you know, is to make sure that you delegate and have processes and even have people reading your emails if you don't want to do that. So I think that was one big disadvantage for me. I found it quite stressful and ended up with anxiety and stuff and on anti-anxiety medication and stuff, which I'm not really an anxious guy.
I think though on that though, with the disadvantage of entrepreneurship, that the poor work-life balance is, I think entrepreneurship is a mental illness, and I think I'm right in it. I think I'm right on the mental illness. Like, I'm addicted to what I do.
Oh, you are mentally ill?
Yeah, I'm mentally ill. Yeah. Right? But the reason why I say that is because you were saying there about delegation, right? And you're going, yeah, you can get them to do your emails, you can get them to do that. And I've had loads of great mentors over the years, great coaches and stuff like that, and they've taught me everything, learning to let go. And I'm letting go, okay, brilliant. Right, I'll get the staff in, right, brilliant. Okay, I'll delegate it, right, brilliant. Right, now it runs really, really well and really efficient. And then I go, I'm getting bored of that. And that runs itself, and I go, right, you go and do what you do, and the staff go and run it. I get like a CEO in and CFO and stuff like that. You go and run that, right, now what can I do? I'm going to start something else. And then you start something else, and then you start something else. So I'm like, when I've got everything set up, and I think like, I've smashed it. I've got the work-life balance now. Probably only need to do what Tim Ferriss used to taught, the 4-hour work week and all the rest of it. Right, brilliant. I've done everything of what he says. Everything's taken care of. I only need to work 4 hours a week. And I have to start something else, because then I don't have that drive, that wanting to innovate, wanting to push myself, wanting to push the boundaries, not getting dopamine kicks of like them little wins of what you get in. And honestly, I think it's an addiction. Yeah. Like, and I think that's the downside to it, and because I am addicted to it and I love what I do, it then does go into your work-life balance things, because you actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a bad part for me is the addiction of wanting to continuously grow when you're fine. Like you don't need to work another day in your life, but you choose to do it.
Yeah.
You choose to take on.
My wife would fucking kick me out if I didn't. If you were to sit around the fucking house, she'd be like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah.
Like when I tell my missus I'm coming down here, she's like, "Yeah, go away, see you later." When are you back home? And I'm like, "Probably Wednesday." She's like, "Yeah, if you need any more, just say." She's packing me off with a smile on her face. I don't get the fucking tears or anything anymore. So I think if I was to stop working, I would drive her crazy. And probably it's the same with you. Like obviously you came up to Scotland a few months back and you weren't well and all that stuff. But I can't imagine you lying about for 2 or 3 days and then people are going to be getting in the ears. And we get tossed out the hotel this morning as well for him being too loud and shouting and screaming and swearing. So you're just too rowdy. And I think if you were to sat sunbathing for a couple of days, then someone's ears getting chewed off at that pool or something. Someone's getting roped into something. And yeah, it's a mental illness. And but if you enjoy it, I see guys like, I know, Dan Pena and stuff like that, 80-year-old and still working. Just his wife probably says, "You need to go to work. You can't fucking stop. You're a fucking crazy guy." And a lot of the guys like that will probably always work to they pop their clogs or whatever. So I probably see myself being one of them as well. But some people have joked with me. Let's say I sold everything, I had 100 million in the bank or whatever. I would have to invest in, I don't know, a football club or something to just get out the house and do some shit. Like, I don't know, fucking help the stadium or something. I just need to do something. Otherwise, I'd drive myself crazy.
Yeah, I think another huge disadvantage of entrepreneurship is the buck stops with you. And I think you end up, there's so many people that are entrepreneurs that end up getting really bad stress and like the death rate of suicide and stuff of business owners and entrepreneurs because the buck stops with them. And the best leaders in the world, when stuff goes well, they don't get the praise. They put the light on the staff and on the employees and they go, "Oh, it's brilliant what you've done." And they don't get the praise when stuff goes bad. Sorry, when stuff goes well. But when stuff goes bad, everything points back to the leader.
Yeah.
And it's their fault. So you don't get a lot of unless you start working specifically on it, of trying to say well done sometimes to yourself.
Yeah.
Which is difficult to do because you're trying to shine the light elsewhere. You get none of the applaudits and you get all, if something goes wrong, that's it. It's all your fault.
Yeah.
And I think that can be tiring at times.
Yeah. And like you say, it obviously can affect different people mentally and stuff as well. Like you say, people have a lot of mental illnesses and in particular in this industry that we work in, you see it more and more. So yeah, it's just how you react to it or who you go and speak to or how you relieve that stress. And I've figured my way out, by going to see therapists and hypnotherapists and everything, try to sort me out. But yeah, it's definitely a massive downside, and it's not for everyone. That's for sure, because I know a lot of people who would rather just be employed and not have all that stuff. But like I say, for probably guys like you and me, like I couldn't think anything worse than going and being told what to do and doing it that guy's way when you probably know it's wrong. So it's for some people and not for others. So you've got to choose wisely what type of person you are. In the mental health, something you have to take into consideration. And it's tough. It was tough for me at times as well when you're like, fuck, I can just throw the towel in you and go and stack shelves in Asda or something. But I've got too much fight in me for that.
I think another huge one, but actually in a weird way, and I think you might say the same. It'd be interesting to see what your thoughts are on this. So a big disadvantage is the high risk of failure, right? So obviously entrepreneurs are risk takers. So they're always trying to push them boundaries and maybe even create and innovate new things that might not work because it's never happened before or whatever. However, even though that's a big disadvantage and it's a big negative of entrepreneurship that you could be failing a lot, I use that as fuel, and actually sometimes I quite like failing. And I know it sounds weird because I think it keeps me grounded and it's just stepping stones to success. And I'm like, I embrace the failure now. And I feel like if I've not snapped the elastic band when I'm pulling it.
Yeah.
I feel like if I've never snapped it and never failed, I don't know just how far that elastic band can actually go.
Yeah.
So actually, in a weird way, when I've snapped it, I go, oh, it snaps here. Okay, we can push it to here.
Yeah.
And we can push the boundaries as far as we can. What's your thoughts on that? Because a lot of people say it's a disadvantage, but like, I think a lot of true entrepreneurs, they love the risk taking element and having that bit of a gamble.
Yeah, I think obviously I've failed miserably with lots of businesses, for a number of different reasons. But I don't really see it as a negative at all. I take it as a positive, and I'll not do that again. I'll not do that again. Even like basically, what we were discussing this morning about making AI websites. I don't know who's right, me or you. Obviously, we've both got websites that look good and professional, but I want to see what way I can figure it out, and then I'll compare notes with you. And then I'll, if you're doing it faster, better, whatever, I'm happy to do that. It's not about winning all the time for me. I need to enhance my knowledge and stuff like that, and try stuff out. And I'm happy, and even if I lose, I'm happy. I'm happy with my hands up. Go, do you know what? He done it faster and better. It's not an ego thing for me anymore. So, did you have to actually train the brain to do that? Because I remember when I was younger, like if I lost, I was a bad loser. Like I wanted to win every time. Where now I feel like I've had to train the brain in being like, losing's fine, because actually failing is, like you said, you win or you learn. There's no such thing as losing in business, in my opinion. The way I've always just told myself is, everything I've failed in is just part of the apprenticeship, and it's probably cost me millions of pounds to get that apprenticeship. Failed businesses, having to put companies down, and you put money in and you're never going to see it again and all that stuff. But that's just the apprenticeship. At the end of the day, if I come out with more than I started with, I'm winning. And yeah, I've lost money, I've been shafted, I've been bent over, all of these things as well. But it's part of the learning curve, where I'm sure you're the same. You've been bent over and had and missold this and bought a course for that, and it's been a big pile of fucking shite.
I still get bent over without Louis on now, and it's like...
and I laugh at them, but the way I look at it is, when I go to conferences and stuff, I try and give examples of not just successes, but failures. And I think I spoke about it over the years with the e-cigarette and niche I get into. There was obviously legal red tape and all that stuff. All I could see as an SEO was the search volume. I never thought about you couldn't do Facebook ads, paid ads. I'd done the women's clothing niche. I think I'd done that in SEO Estonia a few years ago, and everyone was laughing because we were selling white knee-high boots and stuff, not realising that the returns that women give on their clothes was just eating up into all my profit. So all of these businesses that I did do, I just seen search volume and then jumped in, and there was either legal red tape, returns, or something, which long-term means that every niche that I enter now, I'll look at it more as a businessman rather than an SEO. Whereas before, I would just, like you fucking see a niche and you're going, oh, I can get that domain name and it's get 200,000 searches a month. Boom, that's a business. That is not, that's, you're going to win some, lose some in that kind of thing. And obviously, long-term now, my job's to have more winners than I have losers. Whereas previously, it was way more losers. Like for every 8 businesses I started, 1 or 2 would be successful. The rest of them dissolved. But the job now is everything, and including the AI stuff that I'm doing. I'm pretty sure that's a good bet. I'm 99.9% confident.
Calculated now with what you're doing, and I'm like, everything.
I've got this skill, marketing and a following in this industry. That person's got that skill, and this other guy's more of I'm a scatterbrain. He's more of a business and can do the face-to-face meetings and all that kind of stuff. So the balance is there where I'm like, there's no real reason for this business to fail. And it's already generating revenue, and we can grow that and make an academy from it and everything else that, again, I've done training and YouTube. So my skills align with that. So there's no real reason for that to fail. It's just stuff feels right now. I don't know if it's just an experience thing. Do you know what I mean? You'd probably be the same as well. Everything you now do is not an SEO risk taker. It's more of a business. Can that fail? Because I'm sick of losing as well. I know I don't mind losing, but the odds were stacked against me.
Here's another one. Drawbacks of entrepreneurship, disadvantages of entrepreneurship. I feel every single entrepreneur that I speak to suffers from these two things. I want to see whether you do. I'm pretty certain that you do. FOMO, fear of missing out, and
Absolutely.
shiny object syndrome. You hear something and you go, oh, I'm going to do that. That sounds amazing. And fear of missing out. It's like, I feel like every entrepreneur, because they want to think of the next new thing, they get the grass is always greener, fear of missing out, shiny objects. How do you control that? Because that is, again, I would form that as almost part of the mental illness that forms a package of entrepreneurship.
I mean, I absolutely have both of them massively. But again, with the shiny object syndrome, I used to, go on AppSumo every day, buying up all the fucking tools. And there came a point where I was using maybe 1% of the shit that I'd bought. And I had to tell myself, like, this is a waste of money. Like, let all these other mugs use the AppSumo, and then when someone comes back to me, and when I say other mugs, I just mean other people in the community. Yeah. And then when someone keeps shouting about something, this is great, then I'll take notice. So I'm trying not to jump into every rabbit hole, because you can't. There's only so many hours in the day. And even in my mastermind and stuff, I'm like, guys, stop fucking throwing in stuff unless you can come back and show me how that makes you money. I don't want to fucking know.
Yeah.
So again, that's how I deal with it mentally. I'm just like, nah, I can't, because even with like AI stuff and LLM stuff, people are going, oh, this one's the best, that's the best, and OpenClaw's the best for this, and set that all up, and people are running out buying Minimax, and 3 weeks later OpenClaw's fucking redundant. Yeah. You can't go down every rabbit hole anymore. So I kind of sit on the fence a little bit, and then when someone says this is working and here's proof of it, and if I can take that bit of knowledge or tool or whatever it may be, then I'll go and implement it into my business. So I'm trying to be standoffish and be smarter with it. But like I say, I had a fucking real addiction to just buying shit. And I'm like, I could use that in a year's time. I'm just buying shit.
Yeah.
I could use that in a year's time. So and FOMO and all that stuff as well. Sometimes, especially where AI and everything's concerned, you're like, I need to get in quick and fast and learn as well. So you can't be too standoffish, and it's like a balancing act. So I find that part tough, but I'm curious to know with shiny object syndrome, how you deal with it. You go down a lot more rabbit holes than me now. I know you do.
I still suffer. I'll be honest with you. I still suffer with work-life balance because I love what I do. I still suffer with shiny object syndrome, FOMO. Like, I just feel like that sounds like a great idea. Let's do it. And I don't need to do it, but I just want to do it for some reason, some driving force that makes me keep wanting to do it. And I feel like how do I control it? I don't. And I really struggle to try and control it. But it is what it is. It is who I am. I'm trying to fight someone. If I'm trying to fight against it, I'm like, just as long as I can do it, if it does fail, it fails, and I fail fast, I'm fine with it, and I'm fine with the failure and at least trying it. One thing I wouldn't want to do is die on my deathbed and think I didn't try it.
Yeah.
So if it's just going to be a niggling thought in the back of my head, I just think, do you know what? How long is that going to take for us to test it and do it? And I'm very good at delegation. I'm very good at going, right, we need to do X, Y, Z, go and run with it, come back with the results within a week. And then I'd try to get involved a little bit within it and stuff like that. But like, I am very good now at getting through noise to then find out where the winners.
I've got to ask you a question.
Go on.
So it's kind of criticism of you as well, right? I think, when you talk about mental illness, I'm like, he is mentally ill. How many podcast websites have you got?
8.
Right. So see, rather than testing one podcast website in your theory, why do you need to go with 8 or fucking 28 or 58? You always go in fucking all guns blazing. Like, no one does 8 podcast websites at a time to see what's working. You've got to look at that and go, I could be down a massive rabbit hole here and none of it might fucking work. Now, I'm sure it will and I hope it will. But that's one criticism I see of you.
Do you know what? So yeah, I completely agree, by the way. I'm in agreement.
I could chuck you a fake knowledge bomb and you could end up in that fucking rabbit hole for 3 weeks and like a fucking dog, and you're testing it out, and not just one website, you're testing fucking 15 websites. You're like, this guy's fucking crazy. Like, you can't go down that.
So just so you understand this part, right? I'm trying to defend myself on it, but I completely agree. There's loads of other things. You give me a little bit of a seed, And I go, oh, that might work, and I'll do it on 10 sites. And you go, why don't you just test it on one site? I'm like, well, diversification, different geos, different niches, different nuances. That's kind of like the thing on it with where I try. However, with the last year I did 8 books. So I was the author of 8 books last year. And this year I'm doing 8 podcasts. Why not 1 book? Why not 1 podcast? Well, I'm trying to send a message out where I'm doing a lot of, like, I kind of class myself as being, I've just been an entrepreneur and investorpreneur. So I'm trying to invest into existing businesses that are doing a couple of million plus. That I've already got a lot of staff and I can try and fine tune on the growth. And at times I'm wanting the business owner that I'm working with to write a book. And every single person says, I've not got time. That's just everyone's default kind of message for, I'm a lazy fucker, I ain't got time, right? So they go, I can't write a book, I've not got time. I'm like, you can get AI to help you, you can get a ghostwriter to help you, you can do it. I can't, I've not got time. Right, okay. So the next part is, so I wrote 8 books to say, I run 17 different companies, we own 6,000 websites. I wrote 8 books within a year. Yes, I got people to help me. I got ghostwriters, I got AI and to help me out. So what can be done? But I did 8 in a year. I'm asking you to do 1 in 2 years.
Yeah.
If I could do 8 in a year and you're just running 1 business and I'm doing all this other stuff, I'm practicing what I preach on that front. And I think that long term, I realized the power of podcasts and books that I thought, if I can go there and show that I've done it, and I'm on the books, I've done 8, and now I'm doing 8 podcasts, which is stupid really, because I've got 3 kids under 5. I've tried to say I'm going to do 2,000 episodes. Like, it's just stupid. Yeah, I get it. But it's a bit of like a fuck you kind of task for me to go after a goal that I'm going to try and hit, which I probably won't hit, but I'm going to get as close to as I can to keep trying to drive me every single day to try and do it. That then in a few years' time, when I do an investment in a company that I don't know what will be, let's say it's a building company, a roofing company, or whatever, and I ask them to write a book, I ain't got time to write a book. Well, I wrote 8 books. I ain't got time to do 1 episode a week. I did 6 a day for a whole fucking year and I didn't miss. I did 2,000 in a year if I can do the 2,000.
Yeah.
And I can show of what I did. And I said, and I was running 17 companies and I had these sites and I had over 300 staff. You can do it. You're just choosing the lazy option to say you're too busy. Because that's everyone's default.
Yeah.
I just wish I could clone myself. I've not got the time. No, you just shit at delegation. And I'm telling you that this would take the business onto a new level, as I wouldn't say to do it. So it is a stupid goal for me to do it and say why 8, but it is a bit of I want something big to go like, oh wow, if you did that and you're only asking me to do 1 a week and you did do 6 a day, then all right, fair enough, I get where you're coming from. But yes, normally away from that was mid-defense of that, but away from it, you're completely right. It's a mental illness. I'm crazy. I can't swim. This is an easy example. I can't swim. And I don't just go in down the ramp and like walk in and get to a point where I'm up to it. I just go and just run in and jump in the deep end. Yeah. And I find, well, I need to learn how to swim all. Hopefully a lifeguard will come in and save me. And that's kind of the mentality. And it's wrong, but...
it works for you. Yeah. You know, that's the other thing. It pays off for you. But my point there is you go down. At some point you must go, I can't continue to do this.
Yeah.
When do you fucking decide to rein it in? Yeah. And I think that's obviously a problem for entrepreneurship. You're going to have to rein some of this stuff in, because you can't just do, if another idea comes up next week, you can't go and fucking make another 8 fucking podcasts. Like they are going to run out of time eventually, and you can't go fuck you, I'm going to do it. Yeah. Because there's only 24 hours in a day. So there's only so much you can do to scale with that method. So
yeah, for sure.
It's madness.
Anyway, hope you like the video with regards to the disadvantages and the negatives of entrepreneurship. Make sure you check out the link in the description where we do talk about all the advantages and the benefits of entrepreneurship as well. Craig, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.